Hi, Dwayne Duggan, Remax of Boulder Video Podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Cindy Braddock. She's the Boulder County Assessor. So Cindy, thanks for coming here today.
My pleasure.
I am so excited to get your wisdom and share it with not only our realtors, but the public out there. Cindy's been with the Boulder County Assessor's Office for 22 years, and she became the Boulder County Assessor in January of 2017. So pretty new at the head position here, but you've been around the block a time or two.
I have.
So part of the reason that we have Cindy here today is it's kind of a special year at the Assessor's Office, and it's an odd year, which is also known as a reassessment year. So that's the year that the state legislature requires Cindy's office to take a look and pick the value or assign a value to every property in Boulder County. That is a big job. So Cindy, let's start off with question number one of just what is the assessor's role? What's their responsibility?
Well, to quote the guidance that we get from the state, the assessor's responsibility, and this holds across all counties of the state, is to discover, list, classify, and value property. So the discovery process is just collecting all the information we can about properties in the county. We list them in our database with as many characteristics and attributes as we can find about them. We classify them as used. So if it's used as a residence, it's a residential property. And then we set values.
Okay. Now, one of the things I've learned about what the public thinks over the years is clients will often call us and they might be a little angry about how much their value has gone up. So they seem to think that the assessor sets the taxes. That's not true, is it?
No, it's not true. It's not true. What we do through our process is set values.
Okay.
And taxes are, I can explain to you how taxes are calculated, but we do not set or collect taxes.
Okay.
So the value that we set on the property is times against the assessment rate, and the assessment rate is set by the state of Colorado legislature. The product of that calculation is the assessed value. The assessed value, which is for residential property currently 7.96% of the actual value of the property, we multiply that times the mill levy. And the mill levy is the accumulation of all the mills that are decided upon by the taxing entities. So fire departments, cities, water departments, those sort of things. That's multiplied against the assessed value to give you your taxes.
Okay.
And those are collected by the county treasurer.
Okay. And you said residential, so it's different for land, right?
Correct. For land and for all properties other than commercial, other than residential, it's 29%.
Okay, because we often get the call about why is residential or why is land appear to be taxed higher, and that's right there. So that answers that question. And then the mill levies, there's a lot of mill levies, right? There's not one for the county.
No. Well, the county has one, but every taxing authority has one. And they set that through their process using information about the values for the entirety of their district. So there are fire districts, the cities have a mill levy, there are water districts, there are recreational districts, there are metro districts, downtown business authorities, urban renewal authorities, just to name a few.
Okay, and real quickly before we leave the mill levy topic, those come out every year?
They do. They're decided by the county commissioners or approved by the county commissioners in December of every year.
And if somebody wants to do the calculation that you rattled off there about the assessed value times the mill levy, is there a spot where the public can find the list of mill levies down to the neighborhood?
Yes, we on our property search tool, which is a mapping tool on the Boulder County website, when you look up your property, there is listed under the assessment section a button that allows you to see the breakout of all the mill levies for your property. You can also see that in the treasurer's website when you look up your taxes. There's also the opportunity there to look at that breakout.
I think it's important for the public to know that because sometimes they argue so hard sometimes for a couple thousand in value, and if they really apply the whole formula, fighting over a few thousand in value doesn't really change their taxes that much, really. I think that's important for them to know. And so I know you're going to be coming into a busy time of year, so can you just give a brief synopsis of what the typical assessment timeline is?
Sure. We reappraise real property every 2 years. So the reappraisal year is the odd number year, so 2017 is a reappraisal year. We use data for our valuation for the reappraisal that is collected in arrears. So that reassessment cycle actually starts 2 years prior to when we set values, or actually 2.5 years prior. So we run through our process, we set values, and we publish those values. We send a notice to property owners on May 1st.
Okay.
We do that every year, but in the reappraisal year, every property gets one. And
Okay.
the odd number, or the even numbered years, the intervening years, only properties with changes like
Okay.
remodels.
And that could be picked up from like a building permit or something like that?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So we send out the notices on May 1st, and we invite the public to come into our office to talk with us, or they can respond via mail or fax or on our website, and let us know whether they have a concern about the value that we have published. We hope that we're close to correct, but if there's any concerns at all, they are welcome to reach out to us
Okay.
and walk through that with us.
Okay. So if somebody does not like the value, what's the timeline and the process to discuss that with you?
Sure. So to file an appeal, it needs to be done before the end of the first working day in June. So when you get your notice, the best thing they can do is appeal in that first month. If you don't get it in time, it's considered off cycle and it doesn't have the same rights. So appealing during the month of May or on the 1st of June, that appeal is then reviewed by our appraisers, and we return a notice of determination to the property owner at the last working day in August. So we have the summer to work through all of the concerns that people have, and we notice them the last day of August. If you still don't agree, or the property owner still does not agree with the value that we have sent to them on the notice of determination, they're invited to appeal at the County Board of Equalization. And that is not in our office, it's under the county commissioners, and on their notice of determination is instruction on how to do that.
Okay.
And then there are steps beyond that, but that
Okay.
moves you into the following year.
All right. So one thing that has always amazed me is just, I don't know if you know how many properties that you are charged at valuing. Do you happen to know a range?
Well, total, including all of them, it's around 120,000.
120,000 properties that Cindy's office has to figure out what is worth this year, right? And that's just overwhelming when you think about it. So can you tell me a little bit like how many people work in your office, and then maybe like how, I mean, obviously you can't get out to visit every single property, but how does that work as far as the model you use to get you started on determining value?
We have 45 people in our office. Most of them are appraisers, either residential, certified residential appraisers or certified generals. That's their licensing. We take the data that was collected from those 2 years and we analyze that data. We collect all the information we can about those properties to make sure we have them properly described as we can. We use that data and put it through a statistical modeling process. So this is called mass appraisal, because there's no way we could reach out to that many properties. So we run it through the model, and the results of those models are what determine the value for all the other properties in the county. So we use the sold properties to come up with valuation schemes that then we apply to the unsolds. And that is the value that then we publish out on the notice of valuation.
And that's what comes out when May 1st. So you could be watching for your letter coming May 1st and be ready. So while we're on that topic, it comes out May 1st. If somebody is going to provide information to the assessor as far as like the time frame that they should pull solds from, like we talked about, it's in the past. Do you have that as far as the time frame for the 2017 year assessment year?
Yes.
So
the appropriate sales to pull are from July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2016.
Okay.
And we're required to use those dates, and sales that were brought to us by property owners that don't fall into that date range can't be used to determine, because we don't use values that are current. We are held to using values that are in the past.
Okay, and that's something important, like for the public out there, that if you're going to appeal, to make sure to use those in that time frame, and that I assume is on the website too,
It is, and it's also on your notice.
So Cindy, one of the things that, again, I get a lot of feedback from the public calling me asking stuff, so I get kind of their opinions, and I think a lot of people think that the Boulder Assessor is like the Boulder Republic type thing, but that's not true at all. The assessments, the rules, and the whole format you have to use comes from
comes from the state statutes.
Perfect. Every assessor across the state is required to do the exact same thing you are. So it's not like the Boulder assessor's more evil.
No.
So-
What the Boulder assessor is dealing with is a really preferable place to live. And so people want to be here, they want to live here, and as you know from your
Right.
business, they're willing to pay to live
Right.
here.
Well, I'm pretty impressed with the assessor's office as far as all that. I mean, 45 people. I mean, some of the rural counties, I know they don't have all the tools and resources that you guys have as far as the people, the computer ability and such. So again, we're quite blessed to be in Boulder, Colorado, to have you in your office taking care of all this. So.
Thank you. We do our best, and we invite you to give us feedback.
Okay, and if somebody does want to come down and visit you, where is the assessor's office located?
We're located at 1325 Pearl Street in the old courthouse, and our office is on the second floor.
It's always fun to go down there. I mean, in the old days, you have all those big maps that you could go through and that type of thing. I
Right.
assume they're still there, but because the computers haven't been there in person in a long
No,
time.
they aren't anymore. Everything's digital. Welcome to the new world.
That's pretty funny. And so if somebody wants to learn a little bit more about this, what's the website? What's the easiest way to get information?
Sure, the easiest way is to go to www.boulderassessor.org. And that's our website. It has a lot of information. And at the bottom are contact numbers, and don't hesitate to give us a call.
Perfect. Cindy, thank you very much for coming here. I know
Thank you.
the goal here is to make a little better bridge between the assessor's office and the public and educate both the realtors and the public out there. So
We
appreciate you
appreciate
being here. Dwayne Duggan, Remax Bullard Video Podcast, signing off.